Insanity, insanity, whatever happened to humanity?
Oh man. Let's get this over with because I can't wait to do something. Hold on, I'll get right to it. Late Night with the Devil. We're talking about that movie. It's a 2024 supernatural horror film. Are you ready? It has been written, directed, and edited by Colin and Cameron Cairnes. I haven't done that in over like a year. Oh my God. It's been that long. In 1977, a live television broadcaster's career is about to be put out of business until he interviews a girl who is demonically possessed and turns the whole broadcast into a hellish catastrophe.
Lily, can you hear me?
Good to see you again, Jack.
Lily, return to me.
Man, it's been a minute since I've watched a horror movie, but it's been a damn while since I watched a good one. A Late Night with the Devil is a damn good horror film. It's a damn good horror film. It's not perfect. Like these glasses. I bought these at 7-Eleven for $7. No pun intended. But anyway. The movie is not perfect at all. It's not. This movie suffers from horror movie-itis that a lot of horror movies suffer from. And it keeps pissing me off because you would think horror movies in this modern generation would learn from these tropes. You would think they'll learn from this disease. But excuse all that. For people who was iffy to watch this film, what the fuck are you waiting for? If you want to watch it to get scared, we got this here. If you want to watch it to get entertained, we got that here too. But horror is subjective. Like, what does scare you? If you like demonic possession in documentary films and films that's based in the 1970s, when it comes to horror, I'm not going to say what the fuck you're waiting for another time. Let's start off with the good. And I'm going to have to mix it up with the bad, because I can't talk about the good without indicating the first issue. And the first issue that I had with this film that I kind of did like was the fast pacing. The pacing already starts off with the main character that is a main broadcaster himself. He already go through a crisis when it comes to his family falling apart and with the career of him being a broadcaster going up in ruins. That's what I liked about the film, is that it just kicks off to the point where it doesn't have no dragging behavior. But it's a double-edged sword. Because one thing you want to know about these films when it comes to you being hooked into the project is you being hooked into the characters, especially when it comes to a horror film. When you're making a horror film or a thriller film, survivor slasher, whatever, the first thing you want to do is make a good story, which you have that here, and have characters that we care about, which we don't. You don't give a fuck about none of these characters. You don't give a fuck about the main character. You only care enough, but you don't care to keep going forward when things get bad. David Dastmalchian, he play as Jack. I got to play the character correctly. I do that a lot of my fucking reviews. But he played Jack Delroy on this film. Now, I like his performance. And it's a lot to say, because he normally play weird characters, bad guys, awkward characters, characters that break the ice, characters that make you laugh, characters that make you cringe, characters that make you grossed out, characters, it goes above and beyond. But this is the first time I've seen him play a performance of a character that we're supposed to get hooked into to drive the film, which makes me angry, Because by you having a character like him play as a major protagonist, and you showing us a backside of his character propaganda of him having a wife that has cancer and dying, I feel like something like that needs to be discussed more and more, dredged out to this film, to the point where we feel him falling apart. We feel that the podcast career is beginning to flounder because of what he is witnessing in his mental state. So much wasted potential with his character. All I'm have to say is that he was done well for what was into the film, but not enough for me to care about his performance. I'm gonna have to excuse majority of that, because as we get deeper into the project, when he gets hit into the brink of light by continuing his career, for him being a video podcaster, by him doing these live shows, he gets hit with a certain epiphany when it comes to him inviting new people into the show to keep us entertained, and above all, keep us in the edge of our seat with mixture aspects of showing us different emotions of the whole entire film. And that's one thing I liked about this film too, also, is that it played a dangerous game by me giving different types of emotions. I didn't think I was supposed to laugh watching a horror film, but I did. When they show us this person that he interviewed on stage, that he could read the thoughts of the dead, and he was questioning the audience, what they was thinking about, if what he was thinking about was correct, it was accurate, and some person was like telling him off, saying that yes, that's what I was talking about, but it was not what he was intended to. I was cracking up a lot, and the audience was, and I was like, holy shit, So this movie does know when to be funny. It does know when to pull you in when it comes to the creepiness, the tension, and just for you to be attached to the characters. But it's still not saying much, to the point where when we were supposed to be attached to the characters, it didn't give us enough of us to feel that attachment getting into our mindset. When we get deeper into the project, when we begin to have that certain comfortness and that tension getting paid off, that's when we are introduced to the girl. The girl who played as a demonic possessed demon. Ingrid Teruel, who played as Lily, she did well. She did fine. But she kind of suffers the same fate as Jack. We know enough to care about a character, and besides, before they show us more about the demon being possessing her, they give us a backstory of just how things get taken place when it comes to the cult possessing her and just where she came from originally. But they didn't give us enough for us to care about a character or just care about the demon itself. And the reason I'm saying care about the demon is because they show us certain elements of the project where the demon actually talks and tries to reason of where he's at, what the hell's going on, why am I tied up, this is not what the hell's going on. Like, the demon actually acts confused, it doesn't act enraged. And I feel like if they would have given us more pacing, more variation to her character, we would probably feel what the demon is feeling. But this is a horror film that suffers for the same aspect, like I mentioned. We're supposed to just be scared, right? So how does that work here? Well, it's like I mentioned, you will get scared. When demonic shit happens, it happens. And I don't know if it was because of the shots that was taken based on the 1970s aspect that pulled me in, because I have a soft spot for 1970s horror, or maybe the fact that it being a demonic possessed film, because I have a soft spot for that too, and documentaries as well. But it won me over. It won me over to the point where I wanted more. And that's one thing that a lot of people was having a problem with this film, was the fact that when we was offered the scare aspect of this film, we wasn't satisfied for things to keep falling into the point where we wanted more of it. And we did want more of it. And I'm saying that. Wrapping up this project, I felt like this film decided to do a whole 180 by the ending, by everything beginning to fall in place and not make sense. I mean, if you guys seen the film, explain to me how the ending was, because the ending of this film did not make sense at all. I know it had to do with a lot of hallucination, but they decided to just pull a whole VHS vibe on me, which I wasn't really out of place, because I think the VHS films kind of buttered me up for this type of moment. But man, it just went full sci-fi to me. And I kind of don't like that watching I don't like watching horror films like that. I do not want sci-fi in my horror unless it's warranted and if it's executed correctly. I just feel like when it comes to a lot of horror films like this, they have a good idea, they have a good agenda, they have a good source of material when it comes to things being written on paper. But when you at the ending rope of this film, how are you going to explain it? Is a demonic possessed girl going to make it out of this alive? If not, how's she going to be handled? Is people going to believe what's going on? How are you going to explain the kill count? Like all that stuff that you need to explain, you didn't explain, but instead you just give us all the shit that is literally more things that's going to confuse us. A lot of horror films do this. A lot of horror films do this a lot. And that's the reason why I kind of don't disagree with a lot of people giving this a bad rating. This movie is good, though. This movie is good. It's not creative. And above all, A Late Night with the Devil is a film that you may watch and say it's good, but you may look the other way, honestly. I'm going to have to give Late Night with the Devil a C-. I gave this film so much praise, even after me watching it. But you know how when you talk about something, you begin to remember the certain things that pissed you off, certain things that put you into the point where you be like, what the fuck was that doing on here? You know? And I just feel like what made me not like this film a lot was because I just didn't feel the attachment of these characters. I think that could be it. Or the fact that it wasn't enough horror given to satisfy me. Overall, watch the movie. Because the movie isn't bad. I'm going to give it that much. The movie isn't bad, but it's watchable for most audiences. But for me, I still think it's acceptably good. It's an acceptably good film. But other than that, that's all I have to say for today. Please stay tuned for more upcoming reviews and videos headed your way. This is the second time I did this. It's not going to pop. Stop. Just stop, TCT. This is Hugo, your critic teacher, and you guys have a good day.